Good morning. I'd like to ask everybody to start finding your seat as we would like to start the service. After the service, we're going to go to Mount Olive Cemetery, and from there the family is going to have a wake at Europa, where we'll have time to visit then, as we are on a schedule. I'm going to wait. No, wait until we start. So everybody sits down. No, I'm waiting. I'm waiting until everybody sits down. All right. Something called Jewish time. This is real Jewish time. All right, today's service we're going to begin with the tradition of Kriya, which is rendering your garment. When Aaron, the high priest, when he lost two of his children, the Bible tells us Moses told him that God said, do not render your garment nor let your hair grow long. From there we derive when somebody loses a loved one, we render our garments and we don't take haircuts right away. The tradition is to do tear Kriya. The family is we're going to go up now and the family is going to tear Kriya. Children is over the heart, and the rest of the relatives is on the right side, and there's a blessing to say. The blessing that we say is, blessed are you, Lord, Master of the universe, the true judge. Because we accept his judgment, although we don't understand it, but we know that he's the true judge. So I'll ask the family to come up, and we're going to do the Kriya now. Right, again, I remind everybody that after the burial, family is going to go over to Europa, which is 30519 Pine Tree Road in Pepper Pike, where we'll have time to speak to the family and express your feelings. Today, we're here to eulogize and to celebrate Eugene Litvak's life. A life that is impossible to be able to put in a couple sentences on the life that he lived. An extraordinary person, a person with many talents, and a person that never spoke about himself, a person that never wanted anything in return. And there's a lot of hidden things about him that friends didn't know about him, family didn't know about him, because everybody else had a great relationship with him in a different way. I'm going to talk just a brief moment, a little bit that I have learned about him, but what's going to be more important is for those who knew him to share with us some of their stories or their thoughts about him in order for us to be able to understand the loss that we have. But more important is not just to understand the loss, is to try to follow in his good ways. And I'm going to focus on that just for a couple minutes of how our tradition views death and what we can do after somebody passes on in order to keep their memory alive. You know, when I first sat down with the family and I said, tell me a little bit about him, and it was very interesting that it's not that everybody around the table had different things to say. They all said the same thing. He was a selfless person. didn't care about himself, only cared about others. It wasn't important about himself what somebody else needs. The term "take your shirt off your back" was said about him. He would do anything for anyone, no different of what he was doing. In fact, one story that sticks out is that he was at a party. He was having a great time, and he gets a call. Eric needed the ride. They got stuck in Erie, Pennsylvania. He stopped what he did, came out, not upset, was happy that he called him to help him, picked him up, then went back to the party. But the most important thing that we have to know is somebody needed something, and he stopped. He was a youthful person, a youthful heart, always loved music, loved dancing, legendary brisket maker. Nobody could ever make that brisket the way he made it, and nobody knows the recipe because he always changed it around. Nobody will ever know. He loved everybody, and the most important thing that everybody agreed is he did not have a mean bone in his body. He was just a giving person. And his own success, he never talked, he never bragged about what he did, and we have learned, he went to culinary school, and he worked as a chef, and he lived overseas as well in Germany for a couple years, and he had different jobs over his life in sales. There's just so much that he has done. But that wasn't important to him to brag or to talk. It was just about what he can do to help somebody else, and somebody else could do what he can make life easier for other people. So a day like today, where from the way we always look at stuff is this is going to be our last time that we're with him. And this is what most people call the final goodbye. But in Judaism, it's kind of different. It's not the final goodbye. It's a transition to a whole different world. In fact, we are the only religion that I know of, and please, if you know of a different one, let me know, that the purpose that we're born is in order to die, to go to the next level. There's another level that we need to get, and there's no other way to get there except if we're born. And every person's life has a different meaning. Every person has a different mission why they're here. For example, if two cars pull up at the same time at a store, one may leave before the other one, and nobody cares about it because we're not here for the same reason. Sometimes a person comes into a store just to buy one item, and sometimes somebody comes to buy a whole wardrobe. Every person who is born for a different reason. But ultimately, it's to get to the next level, which is the world to come. And therefore, although he lived 68 years, which is very young, but he fulfilled his mission. And more so that we have to know about him is that he lived 68 full years. Complete. Every day was complete. Every hour was complete. They say a story. Somebody was walking by a cemetery, and you saw on the monuments, you could tell that some of the people lived a very short life, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years. So he asked somebody from the city, tell me, was there a plague? Was there something during those years that people passed away so young? And the answer was no. The person that it says 7 years or 8 years, they lived to be in their 90s. But maybe out of the 90 years, maybe 7 years were counted because a lot of it was wasted time. People don't always live up full life. When the blessing came in the Bible, when it talks about Abraham, he says he came with his days. What do you mean came with his days? Every day was counted. Eugene lived every day. He packed in his day. Every day he had things to do where he could affect others and have a positive impact. He has changed the world. In the last 68 years, the world has become a better place because of him. Now, and it's not over. because he leaves over a legacy. Besides his family and his close friends, all of you who are here because you knew him and because he was important to you. But he has taught all of us how to help others. And when you help somebody else, eventually they will help somebody else. And this has a ripple effect. You go out and you do something that he has taught you. You follow in his ways. Now we know that he's, on a physical level, he's not here, but spiritually he's here. His soul is with us, and all of us are going to benefit from the things that he taught us, and more so he's going to benefit from us. Because next time you have an opportunity to do something positive, or sometimes you're questioning, what should I do? You think to yourself, how would Eugene act? What would he do? And if you do something in his memory, because he taught you, because you want to follow in his ways, his neshama, his soul, goes higher and higher. That's the only way a soul could grow. It could only become greater by doing good deeds. That's the only thing that feeds it. Although he's not going to be able to do it on his own, but we could do it for him. So this is not a final goodbye. It's a different relationship now. Now we're going to be a lot closer to him. Because until now, when you wanted to talk to him or you wanted to do something for him, it would have to be directed to him. Now, wherever you are, and I know we have some people that are watching on live stream, and some are far away, you have a direct relationship with him now. From a small mitzvah that you may believe it's small, to something large, but anything unique. You want to give charity in his memory, you want to do a good deed, you want to help somebody out, you want to do a mitzvah, you want to light candles Friday before Shabbos, and you do it in his memory. Start doing things in his memory for his name's sake. By doing that, it will elevate not only us, but it will elevate his neshama and make it go higher and higher. Every year, the day of a passing is known in Yiddish as a Yortzeit, a year time. And it's a time to celebrate because he's viewed to see on how much success has he had over the course of a year. And that success does not come from his own doing. All it comes from everything that we have done for him. And there's another level which is called Tchias HaMesim, the reviving of the dead, this is something that we're all awaiting for the coming of Mashiach, the coming of Messiah, where the Talmud tells us that we're promised, and this is what we say in prayers every day, that God is going to maintain his faith for those who are asleep in the dust. And all of us eventually are going to be woken up and continue living. The soul goes back to the person once Mashiach comes. And that's the reason why we get buried. In order to be able to achieve being awoken again, and that's when you're going to get the ultimate reward. Because the ultimate reward goes to both, to the person and to the neshama and to the soul. It's very difficult to award a soul when a soul could not have done anything without the body, and vice versa. So at this point, in the neshama, the soul goes up to heaven, and it gets reward. It lives off all the good deeds that it has done, as well as the things that are going to be done in his memory. But eventually, the soul will come back to the body, and we're going to get reward for all the good deeds because they have done all together. It is important to know that when a person lives a life, and a good life, a person does not live like a hermit and has interactions with so many people. Sometimes people get upset. Sometimes you say something and somebody takes it the wrong way. And you don't mean to hurt them, and vice versa. So traditionally, we like to ask for forgiveness. We ask that if there's anyone who, God forbid, felt that has something against Eugene, to please forgive him, as well as we ask Eugene, if somebody wasn't there for you, if somebody mistreated you or they weren't kind to you, to please forgive them. So When he goes up to heaven, there's no blocks. Everything goes smooth. Purpose of eulogy is to understand the loss and hopefully take a lesson. As the verse in the book of Proverbs says, that it's better to go to a house of mourning, meaning a funeral, than to go to a festivity, because there's a lesson to be learned. And there's many lessons to learn from Eugene. His daughter, his brothers, and his son are going to share with us some thoughts. I'd like to ask one of his brothers if they could come up and share with us. You guys figure out which one comes first. As they say, "Ti suda, pожалуйста."
So I got to go first. I'm the more handsome one. Not as handsome as Zhenya was. To me, he was Zhenya. And I'm the youngest. And so growing up the youngest, my brothers were already out of the house as I was growing. But I did get to see them and learn from their examples. And to me, Zhenya was always an inspiration. He was somebody that did things that I wanted to do as well. And I will always remember him for that. I'm going to keep it short. I have a poem I'd like to share. I did not write this, and it was originally written with a female pronoun. I'm going to change it to a male pronoun for Zhenya. I think you would appreciate that. This is called "He Is Gone." You can shed tears that he is gone, or you can smile because he has lived. You can close your eyes and pray that he will come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that he has left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see him, or you can be full of the love that you shared. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember him and only that he is gone, or you can cherish his memory and let it live on. You can cry and close your mind, be empty and turn your back. Or you can do what he would want, smile, open your eyes, love, and go on. Right. I love you, Zhenya. Thank you.
One story that I can tell, a quick one about Zhenya. Back in the 70s in Odessa, we had cholera, and Zhenya was sent, before it started, he was sent to a summer camp. And when the cholera started, they were going to keep him there for an extra month. And the tough guy ran away from Carolina Bugaz, walked 2 days to get back home, through the fields, through the rain. Zhenya was a tough guy. He is a tough guy. He was like more into literature. Growing up, I don't remember him, playing major sports. He was like quiet, smart, good friend to his friends. And it's not fair, but we're all gonna miss you. Love you, bro.
Right. And Danny? Okay. All right, Eric.
Spent last 10 years, spent the last 10 years of my life doing plenty of speaking to audiences through a microphone, different venues, different reasons, and I've probably done hundreds of these talks for different reasons, but at no point in time ever have I needed to say words so meaningful to an audience, so meaningful. And we're all shocked. We're all shocked. You're shocked. I'm shocked. But what's not shocking is how many people are out here and are there and might be watching elsewhere. And you all are a big chunk of the sum of Zhenya's legacy. Your existence and your interactions with my father helped him to become the person that we cherish today, and the person we'll always cherish. He was very kind, and his kindness is something that we have to perpetuate. There's his selflessness, like you mentioned before, when we're out, when you go out, if you're at, a Russian party that Zhenya would love to dance at every week, or if you go out and having a lovely meal, or dancing, it's try to remember the energy, the passion that this man, Eugene, my father, your lover, your father, relative, friend, whatever my dad was to you, think of him. 68. Think of him whenever you can, and let his memory be a blessing and live on. Love you, Dad. Always miss you.
So I don't have anything prepared because I never thought I would have to stand here. But I just want to say that anyone can be a father, but it takes a really special person to be a dad. And he's my best friend, and he taught me everything I know. How to drive, how to play tennis. Would pick me up from the airport at any time. And drive me anywhere, do anything for me. And I strive to be as patient, as calm, and selfless as he is. And I appreciate everything. He has FOMO. He's going to want to be at every party. I don't want to be here, and he definitely does not want to be here. And I love you, and always I'm going to love you, and you're my best friend.
Right. Important to mention about Jana, how close they were and how they were inseparable. And we hope that all of these words are going to bring comfort to you in the coming on in order to be able to move on and continue his legacy. At this point, I'd like to ask if you could rise and we'll say the memorial prayer. El Molei Rachamim, Shoichem Bamroimim, Mametzei Menucha Nechoino Al Kanfei Ashchino, B'malois Kedoshim Utoirim, Kizoya Horokia Mazirim, Es Nishmas Eugene Ben Ephraim and Sima, Shaholach Lioi Lamoy, Bavur Shanachnu Mispalam Badas Karas Nishmosoi, Began Eden Temenu Chosoi, Lochem Balorachamim Yastirei, V'sei Sekenafov Lolamim, V'yitzror V'tzorachaimes Nishmosoi, Adinayunach Losoi, V'yanuach B'shalom Al Mishkovoi, V'noimar Amen. God, full of compassion, who dwells on high, grant proper repose in the sheltering wings of your presence, and the lofty loves of the holy and pure, who shine like the brightness of the firmament, onto the soul of Eugene, the son of Ephraim and Sima, who has gone to his world, and whose memory we pray. May his repose be in paradise. May the Master of compassion bring him under the cover of God's wings, and bind his soul in the bond of life. May the Lord be his heritage. May he repose on his resting place in peace. And let us all respond, Amen. At this point, you may be seated, and we're going to get directions from our director. Fathers, and he says the casket place.